Welcome to the DSX Access Systems online training video channel. In this video, we will use KB2CW to test a serial port connection to a 1042 master panel. In this exercise, WinDSX has been installed and configured to communicate to location 1 through a DSX USB serial device. As you can see, the location is offline and the devices are not communicating. After verifying that the database programming is correct, it appears that there is an issue with the COM port and/or the wiring to the panel. KB2CW can be used to test the COM port and to verify connectivity to the master panel. Be sure and close all DSX programs before starting KB2CW. Open KB2CW and select COM port, define port. Enter the COM port number of the serial port being used to connect. In this setup, we are using COM port 4 to connect. Click OK and the defined COM port information will be displayed in KB2CW. If you receive a message that says the port cannot be initialized, there is a hardware problem with the PC that must be resolved. Press the Enter key 3 times. If properly installed, the master panel will reply with a DSX prompt. This DSX prompt confirms that you can communicate to the panel on the defined COM port. If you press Enter 3 times and you do not get a DSX prompt, only a flashing cursor, there is a hardware issue, and you can use KB2CW to perform a loopback test to troubleshoot the connection. At the panel, disconnect the transmit and receive wires and twist them together. In KB2CW, type any letters on the keyboard. Each time a key is pressed, the data is transmitted out the serial port. The data will loop back to the serial port if the transmit and receive lines are tied together. Any data received by the serial port is displayed on the screen, thus confirming the transmit and receive capabilities of the serial port. If the letters typed are not displayed, the serial port is not functioning properly, you are connected to the wrong port, or you have defined the wrong serial port. If the letters are displayed, it is possible that the panel was wired wrong. Verify the wiring and use KB2CW to test panel connectivity. Press the Enter key 3 times. If you get a DSX prompt, your wiring is correct and you can now use the WinDSX software to download the panel. If you still do not get a DSX prompt, you might have an issue with the ground wire connection to the COM port. At the panel, disconnect the transmit, received, and ground wires from the master panel and twist them together. Type any letters on the keyboard. If the letters are displayed, your connection does not have a proper signal ground. There is an open in the ground wire or it is wired wrong at the COM port. If the letters are not displayed, then the serial port is functioning properly. Use a meter to measure between the ground and the transmit and receive wires. The wire that has a negative voltage of between -8 and -12 volts DC is the transmit from the COM port and should connect to the receive terminal on the master. The other wire should not measure any voltage and will connect to the transmit terminal on the master controller. The ground wire of the COM port will connect to the ground terminal on the master controller. If the panel is wired correctly, press the Enter key 3 times and you should get a DSX prompt. Press the letter V and hit Enter, and the firmware version information will be displayed. The 4th line down will show the master address as defined by the dip switch settings on the controller. Verify the address shown is the proper address for this panel. The only way to 100% guarantee the address of any DSX controller is to use KB2CW and verify the address with the V command. If the address is correct, close KB2CW and start the WinDSX programs. The location should come online and receive a full download from the COM server. As you can see here, location 1 has been detected on COM port 4 and a full download has started. These instructions are for testing connections to the 1040 series of DSX controllers using the RS-232 protocol. The 1020 series of controllers use the RS-485 protocol for communications. If trying to perform a loopback on a 485 connection, disconnect the RS-485 wires from the master controller and connect transmit positive to receive positive and transmit negative to receive negative. This will allow for loopback testing of the RS-485 output from the DSX USB or MCI modules. Thank you for watching this video.